Thank you so much for joining in, Oscar Blue, for Real America's Voice News. We are live from Jerusalem, Israel. A lot of things I want to talk about. My God, we found something today. It's incredible how all the topics that I will touch. First and foremost, I would like to move forward and say something real quick. I don't know if you guys know what is going on in Iran. A lot of people know what is going on in Iran. They recently it's a conflict. That's why we're here in Israel. The ballistic missiles, attacking several different locations over here, penetrating some places in Tel Aviv, some place in Haifa. By the way, we're going to show you video right now. We went to Haifa and we just recorded where that missile, the ballistic missile, landed. But more than that, I just want to make a little small parenthesis that is the last topic that we are going to touch. There's a lot of topics that we're going to touch. Iran, it is doing the most biggest, massive deportation in their country of Afghans. And one of the things that they're doing it is because they say it is because of national security. Where's all the crying and all the pandering about all these anti-ICE protesters, all these Antifas, all these defenders of human rights, and all these defenders of Iran? I would like for you to pick up your things, buy a ticket, and go directly over there and help, your people, because that's your people. All these lefties, all these Marxists, all these communist socialists, that is your people, nobody else. But before we're going to touch, other topics. So today, with my mentor, Chuck Colton, he took me all the way to the north of Israel into the part of the Golan Heights. Next door, half a kilometer possibly, to Syria. And this is the crazy thing that I'm about to show. As I was doing just a stand right there, say, you know what, we are right here in Syria. This is the recent events that are happening right here next door, this border. That, by the way, let me just inform for everybody, we'll put some video on the screen that you guys are going to be shocked. Possibly Americans are going to be extremely pissed off. But just one attack on the month of June came in from Syria all the way into Israel. One attack on June 3rd. It was a projectile from Syria into the Golan Heights. And there was one that it was completely shocking, that it was Magdal Shams, I think it is the name. It was on July 26, 2024. There was an attack by Hezbollah, a rocket into a soccer field in Magdal Shams. It killed 12 kids. This was in a year ago. But until the conflict started happening on June, look at all the conflict that Israel was dealing with. And I'm not, oh my God, he's defending Israel. No, it's just the whole situation that they were dealing with. You're dealing with the situation in Gaza, right? Complete. Hamas is not backing down. Hamas is saying, okay, ceasefire, but we want everybody to get the hell out of the Gaza Strip and we will accept ceasefire. That will be a complete loss of Israel in the war, right? So it was that. It was the Northern Galilee with Hezbollah. It was a couple of missiles that entered, that we will show you that video just in a few moments. A couple of missiles that entered from Yemen, from the Houthis, into Jerusalem, that were taken down by the Iron Dome, and plus adding the attack on the part of Syria with the projectile. The Syrians are quite masters on sending drones. That is their cream and butter, sending drones, explosive drones into that particular part. But as I was standing there, Chuck told me, hey, you know what? Do you see those? Do you see that compartment over there, that camp? And I said, yeah. But as I was watching the camp, they had a couple of letters in one wall. Guess what letters, people, they had on that piece of wall? It said UN. And I said, what it is that doing there? And it is a wall that divides Israel and Syria. And next to that wall, it is this huge camp of the United Nations owned off that holds around 1,200 blue helmet soldiers, that these ones are maintained but around with all the European money and the American taxpayer, around 60 million. Out of that 60 million, let me clarify, 20 million are from the American taxpayer. This is the incredible video of it. That is the compound. You, the American taxpayer, are paying for this. This is the humongous compound of the United Nations next door to Israel. You see that car right there going? That's Israel. You see that little wall? That's Syria. That's the crazy thing. You guys are paying $20 million. And you know what the job is of these people? Apparently, the job of this compound and the responsibilities of these people in this compound, it is that their job is to make sure that the ceasefire between Israel and Syria, it is respected. That is their job. So out of the American taxpayer, you guys are paying almost $50,000 a year per each soldier, because almost around that, you have 1,200 soldiers of the United Nations in this camp, and you guys are paying 50,000 per soldier. You guys don't even pay your own soldiers that amount of money. You guys have a humongous problems with homeland veterans. You guys have a huge problem right now with Texas, with the flooding. You guys have problems right now with the border. You guys have problems with deportation. You guys can save all the money that you want right now. You need to save money. You don't need to spend money. And one of the things that it was really interesting and important, it was that they were going to cut the funding of these international organizations. The Trump administration needs to do their job. There's no other way around it. Stop with the pandering and, oh my God, trust the plan, Oscar. Do your job. You promised that you were going to go after these NGOs. You promised that you were going to go after these international organizations. You promised that you were going to prosecute and investigate all these progressive, mercenary activist liberals. You promised that you were going to cut the funding of the United Nations. You promised that you were going to get out of the Global Compact of Immigration. You promised that you were going to get out of the Global Compact of the Environment. You promised that you were going to go after George Soros. You promised that you were going to go after Antonio Gutierrez, Alex Soros, and cut the funding to all of this. And still, these people are living out of the American taxpayer, but around $20 million you guys are giving per year. Now, apparently, their job is to protect, to make sure that there's no ceasefire, to make sure that, there's a ceasefire between Israel and Syria. This is right here. This is the border with Syria right there. That's the compound. That is the compound. And it is amazing because Israel has capacity now for 15 kilometers inside. They're already in 15 kilometers inside the Syrian territory. It is incredible. They already have capacity of 15 kilometers. What the hell these guys are doing there? What are they doing there? And if they are supposedly being there to protect, guess what happened today? Just before we start, before I continue to play this video for just Americans to get a little bit upset. So if they are located on this particular location to just make sure that there's no terrorism and then there's no activity and that, there's no radicalness between Syrians and possibly Hezbollah where they're operating and all this disaster. These are fake humanitarians. I have said it so many times. There was a woman right now, an ex, challenging me. How do you know? How dare you? Why you didn't ask for an interview with ONDAF? I was just in Guatemala and UNHCR closed the door on me because they don't want to talk about unaccompanied minors. I was in my country of Mexico. UNHCR closed the door on me also because they don't want to talk about unaccompanied minors. They've been sucking the teeth and living out of human misery in the Darien Gap, in the whole continent of America. They're the ones that they created this immigration disaster with the globalist compact of immigration. Nobody else. But if this huge camp, it is existing right here, just next door to Israel, worthless camp, may I say. And the weirdest thing is in this strange thing about this. Let me just say it: Israel is the greatest ally of the United States of America, and America is the ally on of Israel. Why America is giving out money to the United Nations to this UNDOF so they can interfere with what Israel is doing? I don't understand politics, bureaucracy, whatever it is. You shouldn't be giving them money. The number one thing is they should be defunding these international organizations. Stop giving them money. They're not doing anything. Look what Nayib Bukele did to El Salvador. He kicked them out. And he said, we don't need you. You're lovers of criminals. You want our streets and our Latin countries to be filled with blood. They just suck in the teeth of human misery. They're worthless. And you want, I will make sure why I'm saying this and why am I assuring myself to say and daring myself to say they're worthless. You know why? Chuck just gave me this. And this is incredible because if they're there and if they have a mission and if they la this, la that, they should know what is going on in the Syrian territory and they should advise like, hey, Israel, this is what they're doing over here. We are trying to keep the peace. No, it should be a ceasefire. You already have a lot of problems in Gaza. You already have more than 1,200 missiles that Iran shot at you. That, by the way, I just want to add, for all the people in there like, oh my God, you're from the Mossad or you're from AIPAC. I don't even know what the hell you guys are talking about. But a lot of people are talking about that, Tel Aviv was completely destroyed and Haifa was completely demolished. My God, I was just there. I stayed a night in a really nice hippie hotel. It was really nice. The room was really nice. Everybody is going back to normal. You can walk your dog. I will tell you one thing. I'm feeling more secure, 1,000 times more secure right now here in Israel than if I was in Tijuana right now at 9 o'clock at night. I wish that I had this liberty and freedom to just pick up my things right now and go out to the store at 9 o'clock at night with my son and my daughter. I don't have that. My son and my son and my family. I don't have that possibility, and I don't have that freedom and liberty. Over here, you still have it. Although you have been shot with more than 1,200 missiles just recently on this month alone. But let's go back to this. I want you to focus on this. Just how ridiculous, how worthless these international organizations are. So you guys are paying $20 million for these people, all right? Look what they just found just today, I think so. Look at this. And let me just read it, just for you guys to understand how useless and worthless these international organizations are. This was a recent report. It says Israeli troops, including reservists from the 810th Mountain Regional Brigade, recently raided a former Syrian regime military facility near Mount Hermon. They seized over 3 tons of weapons, including anti-tank mines, explosives, and rockets. The IDF has been operating in South Syria up to 15 kilometers deep, what I just mentioned you, since the Assad regime fall in December, targeting 9 posts, mostly within UN-patrolled buffer zone, to prevent weapon smuggling into Lebanon and secure arms that could threaten Israel if acquired by hostile services. So if you have this, tons of weapons that they were just discovered by the IDF, not by your worthless blue helmets, that they're making 20 million. Look at that, man. That's cynical. That's ridiculous. You got to be kidding me with this. That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. All these tons of weapons that they were found 15 kilometers into Syrian territory, but you got these worthless people right here. Right there. Huge camp, more than 1,200 blue helmets. What are they there for? They're supposed to be giving out intelligence, providing intelligence, trying to, I don't know, trying to do something. Do something. Get out there. Be a cop, whatever you want to be. And they don't do nothing. This is the number one reason why I have pushing. Man, one of the first things that I'm upset of the Trump administration. One of the things that I'm upset of the Trump administration, I got to give him credit with the security of the border. Man, there's never been a secure border like this one. But they are not going after these international organizations and NGOs who they created this disaster with progressive mercenary activists, liberals, and the Democrats and some rhinos into your country. They're not going after these international organizations the way that they're supposed to and cut all their funding, all of it. Why you're spending money? The United States does not need to be spending money. You guys in debt trillions of dollars. You guys cannot be doing this. And it's providing more every year. 20 million. Give it to them. They will leave us alone. Why you got to give it 20 million? You got a homeless problem. You got huge problems. You got a mental illness problem in the United States of America. You got problems in your colleges with your kids. Then you got a big problem. Everybody's away from Jesus. And I'm not even saying in the United States, the whole continent. So you want to, give out money and you want to release money, invest it in your own people, invest it in your own youth, invest it in your own schools. Why are you investing it all the way over here to a camp in the next door, to into Syrian territory? It's just unbelievable. It's incredible. I don't know about you guys, but I won't, if it was me, I won't be spending that money. It's, first of all, I don't have it. But second of all, it's too much. I want you to understand something right here. So there has been a lot of speculation and a lot of, throwing rocks here and there about what happened after Iran released a rain of missiles into, the hemisphere of Israel on June, right? And I did a whole explanation. I did a video about it, a report about it, that we went to the, Nova Festival. And in the Nova Festival, it's sad because you see more than 300 young kids were massacred on October 7th. And I gave out a number. I said, in Mexico, on the month of June, just on the month of June alone, between Iran and Israel had 28 deaths of the conflict. Iran had 900 and plus fraction. Mexico alone had 1,968 people that they died due to cartel activity and homicides. 1,968. On the 30th of June, in Mexico, you had the deadliest day with more than 30 executions. In those 30 executions, you had 6 people that they were hung on a bridge, decapitated. In May alone, it was the month with more missing people in history in Mexico. And this is the neighbor of the United States of America, down south, right there. It's unbelievable. And this is the reason why I'm bringing this. Because immediately you have a lot of people there were a lot of people commentating, well, go to Gaza, pay me the ticket. It's real simple. You don't show the kids, and I know the kids are suffering. I know a lot of kids are dying. It's a war. Sadly, it is a war. And a lot of innocent people are dying. That's a reality. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to be like, oh, no, yes, no. It is a reality. A lot of children are dying. It is like in Mexico, a lot of children are dying. And these organizations need to be treated as such. They're terrorists. And I have said this before. A terrorist doesn't wear only a turban. A terrorist also wears a suit and a tie. This is why we have dirty politicians in our country of Mexico, which they need to be arrested and extradited to the United States of America, and they need to be designated and also as domestic terrorists of Mexico. But let me just tell you, let me explain to you something. So Iran started releasing all the propaganda of how they hit Israel. And immediately it was all over social media. Man, Israel is suffering. Israel is torn down to pieces. Israel is done. Israel, they hit so hard Tel Aviv that it's just so hard. I just went to Haifa. And it has so many buildings. And none of them got hit. Only one. And it was a parking lot where the ballistic missile hit the parking lot. Of course, the explosion is going to be huge. On the side of the parking lot, there was a mosque. So the explosion, because of all the cement blocks and all that, hit the mosque. And also the explosion hit a skyscraper around 15, 20 floors. Just all the windows were cracked. The explosion also trickled and ricocheted to the other side of the street, of the opposite side of the street. Some buildings, their windows were cracked because of the brrr, and that was it. Also, apparently, they hit a refinery and also an energy plant, I believe so, which I did not see. We were searching for it, and I did not see it. I want to show you the video of how it looked. But this propaganda, this disinformation, this, you guys know when I come, I say it like it is. This disinformation, this propaganda of saying, oh my God, the whole city of Tel Aviv is destroyed. I'm right here in Jerusalem. People are walking their dogs as we speak right now, outside of the street. People are living their lives as normal as possible. These people invest in the security of their own people. And I will tell you, how am I assuring this? Somebody saying, what your shirt, what your t-shirt says. God's plan is our mission. That's my slogan. So how they invest in their protection and how they invest in their own security. I told you guys, first broadcast, for me to cross from Jordan, I arrived to Jordan, big mistake, I'm sorry. I got an infection over there. I got sick. I'm way better than I was laying down on the bed sick like for 2-3 days. I got an infection in Jordan when I was crossing the pedestrian port of entry. And then I crossed to Israel. And it took me 3.5, almost 4 hours in Israel to cross. The meticulous inspection and how they protect the border is unbelievable. The United States doesn't even protect it like that. Not even Mexico. Talk about it. We have an open border with Guatemala. So the level of investment of protection to their own people is incredible. This is video of the missile, how it hit. Yeah. The skyscraper. You see the skyscraper right there, how it hit. And this is the parking lot. So the parking lot is in the back of the skyscraper. It's also, exploded in some vehicles, some cars. This is one of the missiles that hit in Haifa. That was it. Got the skyscrapers, goes all the way up, hit the windows. That's about it. End of the story. That was one of the hits. How many people died in the part of Haifa? 4. 4 people died. 4 people. Critical damage to that particular area? Yes. It's a ballistic missile. It's not a cherry bomb from Christmas. It's a ballistic missile. Of course, it's going to be a massive explosion. and it is landing without letting you know, like, hey, I'm coming. If you want to get out, there's a little bit. No, it's just landed. It exploded. Of course, it's going to cause some damage, but it didn't stop the city from moving. I got to say it like it is. In Tel Aviv, I saw it, and I will show you video tomorrow on our next broadcast tomorrow. I will show you video about it. And ultimately, this video that I will show you that Tel Aviv is normal. Also, the port of Haifa operating normal. The power plant operating normal. Everything's operating normal. I don't know why they're, and even I would like to go to Iran and to experience how the damage also is in Iran. Where was the damage and how, if it has stopped also the country of Iran from operating, if it has stopped also Tehran. I would like to go also, ultimately. A lot of people are like, well, why don't you go to Gaza? Well, they have said, I don't know if you have heard, but they have said that if you cross the border, they will kill you. So if you guys have a connection, just let me know. And, I will let you know how much the plane tickets and the hotel over there in Gaza is. And we were there like a kilometer away from Gaza. We were watching how the explosions were still landing in Gaza and how the continuous war in Gaza continues. Why? Because just recently 5 IDF soldiers were killed by Hamas, and they intensify again the bombings and the deliveries on the other side. Of course, dozens on the other side have died, but more than 400 soldiers of the IDF also have died on this side. Not justifying, just saying numbers. So this is clearly the only thing that it was damaged. And again, I'm going to play again the video. This was the parking lot. This was the ballistic missile landing, particularly on the parking lot. And this is the skyscraper that, it's ricochet, all the explosions. Bam, boom, bam. This is the ballistic missile. Buy me a copy. It is right there pinned in the chat. For people that want to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, we're over here in Israel. I would greatly appreciate all enormously right now. If you guys go over there to the Copy app and donate and contribute, I'm trying to get back home, I'm trying to get a ticket from here, from Tel Aviv. I have a ticket from Florida, so I'm trying to change it. So I don't want to cross that pedestrian border. I'm not trying to go through. I'm trying to go back from Tel Aviv into whatever, whatever part in Europe, and from there go back to Mexico. I'm trying to get my tickets home. So buy me a coffee is right there, pinned in the chat. If you guys would like to help me out, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. So that was that. Let me just put some another video on. So this is what recently happened in Gaza. This video was all over the place, but I wanted to put for you guys so you guys can see. This was after the 5 IDF soldiers were sadly they took away their lives, and the response, well, always the response is not going to be just nice. This was specifically the bombings, as you guys can see right here, and this is in the Gaza. Oh, boom! There you go. This right here is a missile coming in from Yemen, sent from the Houthis. So it's not just, dealing with Iran, dealing with, it's not only dealing with in the northern part with Hezbollah. It's also dealing with Syria. But Syria also is just showing you guys that they just found tons of weapons. That their intention was with these weapons, absolutely and ultimately to throw again to Israel. So it's not only just that; it's just the missiles that were coming, that they were taken down by the Iron Dome, and those missiles were shot by the Houthis inside of Jerusalem. It's kind of crazy. All these multiple events happening at the same time. I don't even know how to deal with it, man. We have and the craziest thing about it, Yemen, yes, in Yemen. The craziest thing about it is that In Mexico, they're decapitating, they're dismembering bodies, they're kidnapping women, they're using children, they're recruiting children from elementary schools, from high schools to kidnap, to extortion, to kill. And the Mexican president does not want to call them terrorists. But over here, immediately they are designated as such. There's no other way. And worldwide, they are designated as such. Why are we holding back the level of corruption in Mexico just for not designating them as terrorists? Because if you do, you will basically let authorities come in and take care of the problem. We were talking about that, how that will be handled. And there's no other way by eradicating and eliminating the problem by within. And that's about it. Wipe it out. Remove the innocent people from their homes and then go in there and operate. That's the way it has to be done. So I want to put something on the screen. And this is a comment right here. Comment. USA United will never be defeated. How you doing? It says Oscar Ramirez. They're doing the same thing in USA to recruit militants to evade and mobilize to interfere with ICE. So I got a different perception of the whole thing. I can't go against my people. I just gotta say it like it is. I'm a guy for law and order, but I can't go against my people. So I'm not going to talk bad about Mexican people. The bad Mexicans, get them out. As the bad immigrants, that they're committing crimes, that they're committing horrible crimes, get them out. But I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to say something that actually, and this is one of the most stupidest comments that I have said is this. You want them to do what they're doing to Gaza to Mexico? What a stupid comment. I just said exactly what it needs to be done. Remove the innocent. Let me just say it and let me just say it slowly. Remove the innocent people from where they live and relocate them. And then you go and take care of the problem. Remove the people from their homes, the government. Juan, Carlos, Maria, how you doing? Let me just explain to you, like with, apples and oranges, so you can understand. Juan, Maria, how you doing? You guys know that you have a plantation in the back and you got 75,000 cartel members that they live behind your home, right? Yes. Do you like that? Of course not. So we are going to have an operation. Do you want to stay here? No. Okay. Can you come with us, please? Hey, let's go. You remove a population from the agitated particular area, which it is going to be a conflict. You safeguard those people, and then you take care of the problem. You want them to do what they did to God? Of course not. My God. Sometimes, what? Hijo de la chica. Talking about this anti-ICE protesting, before I move on to the last topic, there has been a lot of situations going on inside of the United States. I think the most aggravated situation that I will share with you guys, go to Chuck Holton. Chuck just shared a really interesting video of what is going on with Antifa right now. That is another problem that I'm upset with the Trump administration, and I will explain why I'm upset. But I'm Mexican. People are going to say, "Well, worry about your own country." I can speak whatever I want is my platform. So Trump, Chuck just did a really special report on Antifa, how they are operating now with guns, and they're acting as a militia. Now they're shooting. Now they are shooting at officers. Look how these Antifa punks, how they have grown so much, and they are bold, and they have dared themselves now to move it up a little notch and to move it up a notch. It started with just protesting, being radical, being a Marxist, communist, living out of just sitting down and squatting. Then later on, it grew into mobilizing and attacking police officers in protest with rocks, with pepper sprays, and fighting them off. Then it grew into taking over streets, like it happened in Seattle with Chaz and all this stupidity. Then it grew to be a movement nationwide, and let's go against the fascists and all this, and you're my comrade, and grab my hand, and let's go to my mama's basement. And it grew to that. It grew so much that now they're shooting at police officers. And the bad thing about it is this: the Democratic Party, when they came into office in 2020, immediately, not on day 2, not on day 3, or not on day 4, on day 1, they went after every single January 6er. Every single one. They categorized the Proud Boys and every other right-wing movement as domestic terrorists. They were using to every single conservative, you're a domestic terrorist, and if you don't shut up, I will lock you up. They locked up every January 6er for 20 to 25 years in prison. Immediately. Like this. They did a massive investigation. They closed their files. Man, my God, they did like incredible things that you guys were like, whoa, they are mobilizing, man. You better shut up and go and hide. Why in the hell the Trump administration is not going after Antifa and designating them as a domestic terrorist organization? That's what they are. Investigating these progressive mercenary activists of Black Lives Matter. Investigating all these progressive mercenary leftists that they were working with NGOs, smuggling and trafficking children and trafficking humans in through the border. But in particular, talking about Antifa. Why they're not going after them like they are a militia. They're shooting at people. They're shooting at innocent, people. And they're shooting in the middle. They're shooting in crowds through particularly the cops. When did it got to a point that these kind of organizations have the power to do that and continue to do it and do it and do it? It's unbelievable. And why am I putting this topic? It's because of this. And you guys are going to laugh, but it's not a lie. This is what's going on. Hundreds of thousands of Afghans are forced to leave Iran. Iran right now, at this particular moment and juncture, they are operating the biggest, massive deportation that nobody is seeing. They're quietly doing it. And there are a regime. Of course, guess who is over there? OIM, United Nations, pandering and saying, don't worry, my Afghan brother, I got you. We have donations from the world that we're not even going to give you 1 cent, but we're going to help you. What does the article says? The article says hundreds of thousands of Afghans have left Iran over the past week since Tehran gave more than 4 million undocumented Afghan migrants until July 6. 4 million until July 6 to leave the country. The United Nations and other international organizations said, raising alarm over dire shortage of funding to assist their returnees. Yes, they need more money, of course. They need more money, people. They're gonna call you up and they're gonna say, hey, we need more American taxpayer. More than 256,000 Afghans returned to the country from Iran in June alone, according to the international organization OIM, the devil. The agency said that it is unprecedented surge in reparations hinders the ability of OIM and partners to provide aid, reaching only 10% of those in need. To all of you Antifa punks, to all of you progressive, mercenary, activist liberals, to all of you wannabe radical and wannabe tough guys, I don't know how much is the plane ticket to go to Tehran. I think that they're not going to let you, but you can go to the other side of the border and do your protest over there. How do you think that is going to go for you? I don't think that it's going to be really nice. They're not going to receive, they're not going to treat you really nice over there. I don't think that you can pick up your little gunny and shoot it to an Iranian official. They're not going to do anything to you. They're not going to let you keep yelling, no borders, no walls, no USA at all over there. No, it's not going to. I don't think that is going to happen. Or what happens if you carry an LGBTQ plus WXYC flag over there? What do you think it's going to happen? I don't think that it's going to happen. What happened to all these people that they're flying the Iranian flag in protest in the United States of America? Why don't you go over there and protest over there? What are you going to do now? We carry the Afghan flag now? Nobody's talking about this. How Iran is so racist, man. So I'm just ironically saying it. I'm saying it ironically. I'm a brown guy. I'm a Mexican. So I'm using my brown privilege right now. Iran is being racist, man. It's oppressive. Oh my God. You're such a fearmonger, Iran. You're creating such hysteria. You're xenophobic, transphobic, homophobic, factphobic, racist, fascist, narcissist, bigot, and Zionist. You're all of the above, Iran. Why? Because they're doing their mass deportations. They cannot handle it. And the most craziest thing about it is that they already said that they cannot handle it because of security issues. Because they don't have funding. But when the United States is doing it, because they cannot handle 70 quadrillion million undocumented individuals, when the United States is doing it, it is the worst. You got Antifa punks, you got people throwing rocks at cars, you got all this activity. When it is enough freedom. I don't even want to get into that topic. Because in the United States of America, you have a lot of freedom. And you have you know how much capacity of freedom do you have? And let me touch on that, man. I'm just going to touch on that a little bit. How much capacity of freedom do you have in the United States? You have the capacity to burn your own flag and nobody will tell you nothing. That's how much freedom you guys have. Do you know what will happen to me if I, myself, Oscar Ramirez, burns the Mexican flag, my own flag in my country of Mexico? Aparte la paliza que me van a pegar, la calentada. I already said this multiple times. Article 54 bis says that we cannot tamper with our flag in Mexico. And Article 288 says that we tamper with our flag, we will be arrested and it is a federal crime. You're going to prison. But before that, when you go to prison, they're going to put you on this little car with 3 or 4 officials that they're going to treat you really nice before you enter the federal prison. They're going to give you a nunca me olvides. It's incredible. Unbelievable. You got all these pochos and all these, la raza and all these Chicanos that they want to talk about the history of Mexico and the history. They don't live over here. They don't experience what we had experienced. And they have that freedom that they're burning the American flag on protest. But I wish that they could come and try to do it over here. In Mexico, they cannot do it. Well, I'm in Jerusalem. I'm figuratively speaking, like I was in my house. Thanks for calling me a pocho. Oh my God, you got your feelings hurt? Do we need to get you a protein check and go to the gym and push some weight? Lástima los sentimentitos. This is how crazy it is. Iran is massively deporting. Massively deporting Iran. Almost 500,000 people. Isn't it crazy? And nobody's talking about it. Why the left, MSNBC, Democracy Now!, The Daily Beast, ABC, CBS, CNN, The View, Why don't they talk about what is going on in Iran? That they're massively deporting Afghans. They're doing it. They don't want them in their country. It's amazing. Isn't it incredible? And nobody's talking about it. Nobody's commentating about it. Why? Because it will completely go against the narrative of the leftist Marxists. And it will backfire into what is happening right now in the United States of America. So we need to speak more about it. And I believe strongly that these Antifa punks, all of them, they should arrest them, detain them, first and foremost, designate Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, first and foremost. Second of all, after you designate them as a terrorist organization, get them out and send them over there to Iran. Just send them on a little trip. And send them to try to protest over there and see how that goes. This is the reality. What they're doing over there. How dare you, Iran? You're such a xenophobic. That's somebody says that's why we got Guantanamo. Why do you want to send them to Guantanamo? No, send them to suffer over there so they can learn their lesson. Why you got to pander him? Over there, they're gonna have their nice little breakfast. No, send them over there. See how that's gonna handle. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. Hope that you guys enjoyed the broadcast. We're going 47 minutes into this live broadcast. We are live from Jerusalem. Let me get out of the camera so you guys can see how beautiful that is. Look at that. It's Jerusalem, the city of Jerusalem. Today I was walking in the Holy City. Let me just say a couple of things. We went today to Chuck took me to the Galilee Sea and to Capernaum. And inside Capernaum, you guys seen the series The Chosen, right? I'm a huge fan of The Chosen. So so it took me to Capernaum, and in Capernaum there's the house of Peter. And on top of the house of Peter, they built a church. And the reason why they built a church, it has an explanation. But in that house of Peter in Capernaum, Jesus did a miracle, and he was preaching there, and everybody was around there. So they brought a guy that couldn't walk, and because there was a big crowd, they carried him on top of the house, and from the top of the house they opened a little hole, and they put him down there, and he did a miracle. He made him walk. So the church, as is being built, you go up the church, and says somebody, no, not a fan, not biblically correct. Well, if you don't want to listen, just lower down the volume and just see me speak something else. So you go inside the church, and there's a part where the top of the house is. On the floor, it is transparent. It is glass. So it actually makes they transport you to make you understand how it happened. It's unbelievable. It's incredible. So I went over there, and then I went again today I went to the Holy City. I went to the Holy Sepulchre. It's incredible to be there, pray there. I was sitting down. Let me tell you one funny experience. I was sitting down. And this is going to go. I'm going to do an audio for my Buy Me a Coffee members of what happened to this story. This is the story that I'm about to put to my Buy Me a Coffee members. So I was sitting down, and I wanted to somebody to take me a picture. Chuck was doing some other stuff, and he couldn't take me a picture. So I thought, man, who can take a picture of me, man? And here comes a nun, and the nun, I racial profile the nun. Well, I'm sorry. She sat down, and I said, Madre, And then she's like, see? And I'm like, oh, where are you from? It's like, well, I'm from Mexico. I'm like, I knew it. And I'm like, what the? And she's like, what are the odds? And like, from Tijuana. Oh, I'm from Toluca. I'm like, oh my God. So we started talking. and and I asked her if she can take a picture of me. And Miss Eva, God bless your dear heart. I send you a big hug, Miss Eva. And talking to a nun, and she was explaining to me the whole, the chandeliers outside where Jesus was laid to rest, and all the situations. Beautiful, beautiful conversation that I have with her. She gave me her blessing. Uh, it's just incredible, to be here. To be here specifically in this particular place is just a blessing. This is my third time coming over here to this country. They have treated me nicely every time that I come. Of course, their port of entry is always difficult. It is difficult because it is a country that secures their borders. It is difficult because it is a country that is in a conflict of war, and it is a country that is difficult to enter. We already know that is difficult, but it is what it is, and I'm blessed to be here. Uh, you know, I'm blessed to be here for the third time, documenting the war. First time that I came here, all the times I have come with Chuck. First time, it was a month after October 7th. It was hot, man. It was just drones all over the place. Second time, we went to the Northern 11th, to Northern Galilee to document the continuous bombings and attacks from Hezbollah. And now we are on this conflict, right, with Iran and missiles coming from the Houthis, and activity in Syria and all over the places. It's all over the whole surroundings. It is just so sensitive and full of conflict. God bless you guys. Let me just read some read some comments. Just ignore the ignorance. The Ricochet says Chuck Holden directed me over here. Well, thank you for coming in. God bless you. Okay. Says your God of the Bible is a God of war. You accept war because it is in your religion. Not today, Satan. How you doing, Satan? How are you? How's your day going? Not today. My God my God is a God of miracles. It is the most intelligent and most beautiful man that ever walked this planet, and his name is Jesus Christ. And he died for you, for your sins. And even though that you do not accept him, and even though that you betrayed him, and even though that still we behave bad to him, on the cross, he, without, all fear, and after being tortured and insulted and spit on, he said to Father, said, they don't know, forgive them, they don't know what they're doing. So, it's never late to repent, man, but not today, Satan. Not today. Let me just say, there you go. Let me put you in timeout. How about that? How about that? I put you in timeout. Well, I'll make you. Oh my God, he's censoring. No, this is my platform. I can put you in timeout. If I want, there's no freedom of speech. Well, there's no freedom of speech then. You're insulting my God, man. So I don't mess with you. You don't mess with that, man. Let me just read your comments. Somebody asked a question before I go. We got 54 minutes. We got like 5 minutes to go. What's up, Jack? You want to say hello to people?
Hello, people.
Hello, people. And then he walks away. So
I'm not very good on camera.
No, yeah, I know. No, you're not. Thank you so much, Chuck.
This is set for white people mode. I think you
Oh my God. Yeah. It's getting a little bit darker, huh?
Yeah, because you were blending into the background.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, yeah. Says he turned on the light a little bit because I was blending too much with the background. Man, this, nobody takes jokes anymore, man. Race jokes were, the best jokes ever. And, nobody takes race jokes anymore lightly, man. And I really don't care, man. I had a little issue the other day in the restaurant, and I laugh about it. We went to this restaurant right here. Where's it down here? And we went to a restaurant, right? And we arrived, and there was these two young, fancy women that they were sit down at the bar. There was no space. The only space was at the bar. So Chuck said, like, well, I don't care. I'll sit at the bar. You want to sit at the bar? I'm like, I don't care. I'm hungry. So we sat at the bar, and Chuck sat first to the other side of the corner. Then I sat next, and then next to me there was a stool, and then it was the one lady, and then the other lady. Right? I noticed when I sat down, and as I was trying to sit down, I noticed when I looked, her wallet was there. Right? So I just as you look. So immediately she did this. She looked at me and goes and grabs the wallet slowly, and then grabs the wallet with the other hand and says to her friend, "Keep it over there, please." I'm like, what is going on? I, I wanted to say, like, I got money to pay my food. Ah, my God. People sometimes, just because I'm Mexican, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. God bless you guys. How's everybody doing? Questions before I go? What a beautiful thing. There you go. Jesus Christ is my Savior, man. Yes, yes. Say it loudly. Hi, Oscar. Go on with Path with God. Has for you greetings from Switzerland. Hey, from Switzerland. How's the weather over there? How's everything going over there, man? Ottawa. Hello to Ottawa. Hello, to Brian Rios. Good to see you laugh. Thank you so much, Ms. Bombshell. Um, we have a troll right here, and thank you so much for coming in. And it's spam, but I would like to tell you that your effing it is not needed over here, and go and release all your anger somewhere else, my friend. Hello from Texas. Hello, how you doing? You don't look Mexican. You look American. Well, America's a continent. So, yes, I was born in the continent of America. So, I'm Mexican. I'm proud, and I was born and raised in Mexico, and I'm proud of it, man. Blessings to you and Chuck and my brothers. Much love for you both. Thank you so much. Saludos, cómo no, chinga, saludos a Jesús Rubio. Saludos para Jesús Rubio, ¿cómo estás, hombre? I thought you were Palestinian. uh, I would like to say one thing that happened to me in the port of entry of Israel. Immediately when I went to the clerk that seals your passport, right? She's when she saw the passport, she opened the passport and she said, "Ah, your mother's Palestinian." I'm like, what the hell is going on? I just got here. And I said, no, I'm Mexican. My passport says Mexican. Ramirez, come on. That's not a Palestinian last name. I'm like, no, no, no. You got the wrong. No, you're wrong. It's wrong. Everything you're saying is wrong. Uh, uh, hello, Raul Torres, all the way to Las Vegas. How you doing, Raul? All the way to Las Vegas. God bless you. Increíble que seas mexicano y que estés diciendo tanta bobada. Fíjate que la digo con toda inteligencia. Estoy en Israel, no sé, tú estás en tu casa, mi queridísimo progre liberal woke, que utilizas tu lenguaje para coartar la libertad de expresión, tu estúpido lenguaje que es, pues eres un fearmonger, eres un conspiracy theorist, estás creando histeria, eres un white supremacist, white nationalist, alarmista, sensacionista, eres un xenofóbico, transfóbico, homofóbico, pronomofóbico, gordofóbico, racista, fascista, narcisista, sionista y from the river, la. Y pues no estás aquí. ¿Quieres hablar de lo que está sucediendo con Palestina? ¿Has visto la Franja de Gaza? ¿Has estado en la Franja de Gaza? Yo estoy acá en Israel y yo sí he estado cerca de la Franja de Gaza. ¿Has estado tú ahí? ¿Lo has experimentado? ¿Sabes lo que es el conflicto de la guerra? Ustedes, los niñitos que se la dan de que saben todo y son una vergüenza, eres una vergüenza, la verdad. No se saben ni limpiar la cola para empezar. Y en segundo lugar, nomás todo lo que aprenden es de Google y lo que venden y lo que les venden y la inteligencia artificial. Y con eso hacen argumentos ustedes para poder defender lo indefendible. Sí, hay muchos niños que están muriendo del otro lado de Gaza, y lo he dicho muchísimas veces, y estoy en contra de que la gente inocente esté muriendo. Y estoy en contra de que esta guerra continúe. Claro que sí, la paz es lo primero y lo número uno que se tiene que establecer. Eres una persona que dices que eres latina, de seguro ni vives en México, de seguro no estás ni en nuestro país de México y no vives las inseguridades que estamos viviendo en el México, el secuestro, la extorsión, la actividad del cártel, el crimen organizado, las múltiples muertes, la guerra que se está viviendo en Culiacán. Tú no vives en México, tú vives en los Estados Unidos, posiblemente eres un mexicoamericano de esos que nacieron en Estados Unidos, pero tienen la sangre latina, sangre mexicana, y nunca has sufrido lo que nosotros sufrimos. Vives del capitalismo del dólar y me estás escribiendo de tu celular capitalista y de tu laptop capitalista. Eso es lo que estás haciendo, mi hermano. Y vienes aquí a decirme que digo tanta bobada cuando yo estoy acá y tú estás allá. Saludos. Cuídate mucho. Eres un seguidor del genocida. Ah, bueno, sí, el típico. Ya la sabemos, cómo no. No, señor, no, cómo no, vives en Estados Unidos, cabrón. Y de seguro ahorita te vas a ir a comprar una hamburguesitas y papitas. Saludos, ándale, pues, sí, tú, hombre, sí, genocida, todo lo demás, ándale, sí, diviértete. Saludos a todos. How's everybody doing? Just as before he came flesh. God bless you guys. I'm about to leave. Let me just drink some little water. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Lo acabaste, Oscar. No, progres liberales woke no traen absolutamente nada. No traen absolutamente nada. Y los pones a trabajar en un lugar o en un epicentro de guerra o en un epicentro de crisis y créeme que se les esconden las pelotas. No traen absolutamente nada. No han cruzado el Darién yo 4 veces. 4 veces la selva del Darién. Este muchachito que está aquí, si lo meto a caminar la selva del Darién, se le caen los pantalones. O si le digo, cárgate un niño por 2, 3 días, se le caen los pantalones. Saludos. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. Buy me a coffee. It is right there pinned in the chat. If people want to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, let me take a picture of this. Buy me a coffee is pinned in the chat for people who want to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, God's plan, it is our mission. Take care.